Hi everyone, one more time, and welcome to Football Talks by Ultrax. My name is Marko Matušinski, and today we have Domagoj Perić with us. Uh, I don't know where to start with Domagoj. We have a big history together. We worked in few different occasions together in few clubs and on different projects, and we are still collaborating. So I don't want to go any more into details. I think that the best thing is that he gives you his brief background. And yeah, so Domagoj, hi one more time, and welcome to this talk.
Hi Marco, hi everyone. Greetings from Baku. Thank you for good introduction. And I would like to say few sentences also about me. Currently, I'm in Sabah Baku Football Club, Azerbaijan Premier League, first division. Currently, we are second team on the table, and we play this weekend. Next match is against Karabakh. Karabakh is the most decorated team here and the best team here in Azerbaijan. Last season, we finished at third place. Actually, we arrived in this club 6 months ago in March. In that time, our club was at eighth place on the table. We finished third, and we played qualifications for UEFA Conference League. We surprised everyone. We passed Maccabi Haifa, the biggest and most decorated club from Israel. And after that, we play. That was third round of qualifications. We play against St. Patrick's, Ireland. We lost both games 1-0, but I want to say that we were unlucky in those two games. We got two red cards in first game in 55th minute, in second game in 25th minute. So it was.
This can be a problem.
Yeah, that's about current club. Before that, I was at Mostar, Zrinjski Mostar, 1 year, 2023, all year. In that time, with my staff, of course, we won league, domestic championship. We won cup in Bosnia and Herzegovina, and also first time in history of Bosnia and Herzegovina we play group stage of one European competition. It was UEFA Conference League. We played in group against AZ Alkmaar, Aston Villa, Legia Warsaw. Really big teams, big European teams, and it was huge experience for me and all my staff. And also we achieved good result. We got 4 points in such hard group. We won AZ Alkmaar, and that's I think that will be for many years in the future my biggest achievement and best feeling in football. We were down 3-0 at halftime, and we won.
I remember that game. I remember that game.
It was 1 year ago. Yeah, and before that, I was part of Dinamo Zagreb, biggest Croatian club. Firstly in academy, after that half season in second team. Also big experience because there I met really good people and big names in coaching world. I work with Damir Krznar, very good coach. Also Ivan Mijac, very good football coach, and also met a few very good strength and conditioning coaches. So I learned a lot there.
Yeah, it's a big experience, and you have a lot of success in during this time. But don't forget to mention Cibalia from Vinkovci is also
Yeah,
one big thing here. Uh,
yeah,
but
of
yeah,
course.
you have a lot of experience now in especially in the first teams. But before we start with the first like segment, what we were talking about, and I will briefly explain the what are the topics here. But can you tell me from your side, what was the difference in working in Croatia, Bosnia, and now in Azerbaijan, like three different countries and well, one different continent. So it's not the same working in Azerbaijan and working in Dinamo Zagreb. So they are all top clubs, but I think that there are some differences in maybe in culture of the club or some habits. So what are your, let's say, if you need to mention like three biggest things or challenges there, what was it?
Yeah, yeah, good question. Firstly, I will start with Dinamo. In Dinamo, I felt like a part of some system. It system there exists. I have people above me, people under me, people. You know everything there. Who's responsible for
Yeah.
what? Yeah. And after that, in Zrinjski Mostar, when I came, when I saw, I don't know, when I see stadium, gym, everything, locker rooms, and it wasn't like Dinamo. But in next few days, I saw that I have everything. So I would like to say also about the team there. When I looking from this point of view, from Azerbaijan and this club Sabah, I have feeling that in that time in Zrinjski, like we were one family or one very good friends. Everyone from people from stadium, cleaning ladies, to players,
Yeah.
coaches. Like we were one family, and we have one goal. We must go to Europe and also win championship and cup. Atmosphere was perfect. I can say is perfect. And players, I know some players from before, from my playing days, and like feeling like we were family. Uh, and now in Azerbaijan, when I arrive here, now I have feeling that this is, serious job. We came here, we don't know anybody. We met players from start, also coaches, director, and we start to work. Uh, Difference here, comparing with Zrinski, is a lot about communication. In the first few days, that was the biggest difference for me, because I'm speaking on English. We have translator. When I came, we have two translators. One a guy from Morocco, one for Azerbaijan guys, and some part of staff speaks Russian. I understand little bit of Russian, speak English. There's four
Yeah, yeah,
languages here.
yeah.
So
That's
you must,
that's quite challenging.
yeah, that's challenging. And it was new for me, but also, as I said, I think that will happen to me also in future, because I see myself in foreign clubs and away. So I think very, very, very good, big experience, and now I'm used to that. So now it's normal for me.
Yeah. Uh, yeah. Especially the last experience sounds like a big challenge, and you mentioned here communication, and that's our first topic is about it, like about communication and organization as a coach. So you already mentioned some challenges here, but from your standpoint, uh, how important communication and the channel of communication is for you and the organization? I noticed from my experience that like short meetings of 5 to 10 minutes just before training session can be pretty beneficial. It can save you time, you can organize your stuff and so on. So what are your experiences with that?
Yeah, talking about communication and organization and coaching, I think uh, it's very very important topic, and we don't talk enough about it. For example, I saw 1 million presentations about periodization, about I don't know SAQ and similar stuff, but nothing about communication and organization. I think it's very important. For example, as you mentioned, those meetings, we're doing it. I don't know, from six trainings in the week. We do before 4 trainings. We do meeting. Uh, Firstly, we arrived 1 hour and 15 minutes before starting of session. Players arrived 1 hour before. Firstly, we go actually first before that we four coaches: analytic guy, assistant coach, me as a fitness coach, and first coach. We sit on table. We are Croatians, we talk Croatian. We plan training program and everything. What will we do today? What's against which team we play next match? Talking about previous match,
Yeah.
and we write down some our plan, trainings and everything in detail. After that, we come in club. We have office there, coach's office. There are already coaches, domestic part of staff are there. Then we talk with them and show them plan for this week, for this training exercise. For example, if I need assistance in one my exercise on the pitch, I said to assistant coach, okay, Rashad, today you will be here and here. I need you for this and this. I explain everything to him. Also, our analytic Croatian talk with Russian analytic who's also here. They're talking about their part of job. First coach talk with everyone, and after that they have meeting. Usually those are some analyses. For example, first training, first session in week, we talk about previous game. Then next few days we talk about next match, set pieces, and I can say, yeah, as I said, 4 out of 6 trainings we have meetings before. So when I have, how can I say, a little bit more complex exercise on the pitch, also with my assistant coach, I put that in tactical pad and print, few papers, put one paper in locker room, one paper in gym, one paper in my pocket, because every time someone didn't saw it, I don't know how, but it happened every time.
I don't know how.
And because of that language barrier, I try to put it on paper or show them animation or similar. So when we get out in the pitch, to cut the time for instructions and explaining.
Yeah, that's good. You have like 4 to 5 meetings, and you don't want to spare and to lose time on organization and these kind of things. Yeah, from my experience also when I'm speaking with the coaches and what I see on the fields is that a lot of time sometimes you lose because of the organization or someone don't know what is expected to do here, who needs to, I don't know, be here on the passing moment or something like that. So yeah, we can conclude that communication and organization for you is pretty important, especially as you mentioned, a lot of different languages and different types of nationalities. So you need to be pretty organized.
Yeah. Also, it was big difference for me in Zrinjski, for example. I will give you one example. Put, I don't know, put 6 cones, and you need on each that cone you need 3 player. In Zrinjski, it was example. I just said, okay, 6 cones on every cone, 3 player, and that's it. They understand. But here, if I have, you know, sometimes I have 6 cones, and on two of that cones I need 4 players, and the rest is 3 players. In Zrinski it will be easy just to set them, go
Easy to
there and there, and
organize.
they know.
Yeah.
Easy to organize. And here I'm using, I don't know, for those 2 cones I need 4 players. I put red cones, and the rest green. So it's easier for them to say on those
Yeah, yeah.
red 4 players, green 3 players.
That's good. That's good. Like
Yeah.
like like you like to say improvisation in Croatia.
Yeah,
That
you
it's
go
a
there 20 seconds, but 20 by 20 seconds, you got, I don't know, maybe few minutes less for organization.
yeah, that's it. And according to communication or an organization, how do you share this information with staff members and with players? You said that you print some things. You use also the meetings before. You use maybe some WhatsApp groups or anything like that. I know that a lot of teams now start to use some kind of how do you say Kanban boards or some kind of a boards that they print in the locker rooms, they print in the hallways. Uh, do you communicate also like that?
Yeah, for example, I'm also in WhatsApp group with players, and as I mentioned, that example when we have something on the pitch, what is more complicated. For example, sometimes I divide them in 3 groups: midfielders in pairs, attackers in pairs, defenders in pairs, and I must do that. I have 5 minutes for example, it's some speed exercise, but position specific. Firstly, with my assistant, I do that in tactical pad. Put that who's with who in pairs, in which part of the pitch, which exercise. Then I send to them in WhatsApp group. I put on whiteboard in their locker room, and also in gym on whiteboard. So some players come earlier in fitness, so they maybe don't see in locker room. So I put in 3 different places.
Yeah, nice. And they saw this and they understand everything. And okay, you use some ideas on the field, but they know the organization and you are ready for training session.
Yeah, maybe not completely. Of course, if we do something for first time, some exercise, they don't know from picture 100% of what we're gonna do. But
Yeah, that's for
as I
sure.
said, 20 seconds by 20
Yeah,
seconds,
then you go. Okay,
I got
okay,
in
perfect.
total 2-3 minutes. It's important.
But that's not big amount of time, so it's quite good. It's quite good. When we are at communication and organization, I think that we can jump into the next topic, and that's uh, preseason testing and let's say programming according to this testing. So when you
Mhm.
approach to testing in the preseason, so when do you start to test? What kind of test do you use? And how do you talk with the, let's say, with the players and coaches according to this testing procedures?
Yeah. Uh, I work with first team in here, and also I work in Zrinjski and Dinamo second team. So I think it's different than when you're working with youth teams, because in first team I want to test only things that I'm gonna use in programming, for pre-season and in season, of course. So I used one endurance test, I don't know. Sometimes I used one time Cooper test. I used yo-yo test. I use beep test. It depends. Yeah, the most unpopular or most popular answer in our job. It
You
depends.
yeah. It always depends. We now just had UEFA fitness licensing. Before, we are now having like three models, and a lot of answers was like this. It depends.
Yeah,
But
that's only correct
but
answer.
it really is. But
Yeah.
you mentioned something interesting that you don't use every time the same endurance test. Can you explain us why is it like that?
Yeah, because it depends on your calendar. For example, last season with Zrinjski, we finished our season. We had 2 weeks, 2 weeks break, and then we started preseason. And in 4 weeks, we have most important match in season. Of course, European qualifications. So, for example, I was looking for a test that will not fatigue them. Uh, so, and also I wanted to get some informations. So I pick 6 minutes test, Cooper test. It's not so long, and I got some informations. I got maximal aerobic speed as I wanted for programming some intervals in preseason, and that was good for me. Uh, this year, in this preseason summer, I want to see a real picture, because last season we came here in the middle of the season in March, and I didn't do anything. I have no space and time for do any tests. So in the summer, I wanted to see real picture of my team. How are they ready for soccer match or football match, for example? So I use yo-yo test, and I got some information also about uh, what will I use in preseason, and I'm also using it now in season. I got that maximal aerobic speed and those meters, and from that test, I think I can say to my coach, okay, this player is ready. This player must work more on his capacity, you know. And from that test, I can see if my player was the best, if he was in top three, he showed that on the pitch also. For example, my left back was best on the test, and in the game he's always have above 1,000 meters high speed running, and on every training he showed that. You know,
Yeah,
also one
that
player
was my next question. That's good. Yeah.
one player who's on the bench, and he was last season also in the bench, and he didn't play. Uh, this season he started, and he was second on that test. And now for this season, we know, okay, this player he can run. If we put him, we can expect running from him. You know.
Yeah. So not to go, let's stay a little bit here on endurance component because you
Mhm.
start pretty good about it before we start to neuromuscular part. We discussed also on this UEFA conference on the topic of how is it connected, like these values of the testing with game performance. And now you mentioned that your fullback, who was the best at yo-yo, he showed that values in a game.
Yeah.
So have you noticed this pattern with other players? Let's say uh, is the players who have lower values, are they lower in their GPS data comparing with these guys?
Yeah. Also, one guy, he's a little bit younger. He trained with us. I don't know, for a month or two. Now he is under 21 team. He has the lowest result, and also one, how can I say, experienced player also has some lower results. And we know that he doesn't run. We know he doesn't want. He had in that time. He's not longer with us. He had 96 kilos, I think, and we know he doesn't run. He doesn't want to. I
That's
don't know.
his
He's not
category.
motivated. Also is important when someone is not motivated. He can get good result in test. Also,
This is
important
also
part
in the group.
when you
In
test
the
it.
group of this also can go to the group of it depends. It depends group.
Yeah, it depends. Yeah,
Yeah,
it depends.
but that's good to say because you know
For that
that
young guy,
sometimes
I
yeah
see.
say
Yeah,
sorry
for that young guy, for example, I saw that his result was really low, and when my assistant coach, who is strictly football coach, said, "Oh, he can do nothing. He has low capacity." I said, "Okay, we saw that on test." So
and what do you think about this also conclusion if we discuss about this in a domain of speed and neuromuscular component, and we discuss about are the players faster or not. And it was an idea that if you're watching a game and if you notice in a game that the player is not reacting on a tactical action on a good way, maybe he's not slow, maybe just he's not responding on the situation on the pitch. So can we detect from your experience like can we improve player speeds and how do you test speed and these qualities?
hmm yeah. Also, I tested in the preseason speed. Uh, we got speed cells. I test like that. But also I have GPS, and after every session, I look at GPS. I look if I do some sprints of 40, 30 meters. I check speed. Also, I check it live. We have GPS live monitoring, and I know if we are doing some transitions or if I at the beginning of the session put some drill with maximum speed, I check it. So we can say that I'm testing it all season.
Like during the
Uh,
whole season.
Although you mentioned those tactical, yeah. Actually, I planned that to mention in at the beginning when you asked about my coaching style and everything. Uh, I watch every game uh, after match. I watch every game with my analytic, you know, and he find and also I'm watching. We're stopping, and when he saw something, for example, that midfielder should press in this moment on this midfield guy. So we watch. What's the reason? Why he doesn't press him?
what
Is he
what is the
tired? Is he
reason?
slow?
Yeah.
Yeah, what's the reason? Maybe he doesn't saw that. Maybe he saw but thought it's not important. I don't know. We talk a lot about that. So in next week, in next weeks, next period, I'm trying to replicate that situation. We had last week or 2 weeks ago one situation when our defensive midfielder didn't jump 15, didn't accelerate 10 or 15 meters on their midfielder, and he received the ball and just continue. And our player, our defensive midfielder, stay on our half. And then I replicate that situation in the day I wanted to work on acceleration. I replicated that situation and said, okay, we are doing acceleration work with pressing. It was goal to when
That's
player
amazing. Yeah.
A plays ball to player B, our player C, who on which we need to develop his acceleration. He accelerate and try to catch the ball before that player B goes out of some square. I put 4 times 4 meters, for example.
Uh, this is an amazing example of how you can and how you use the game situation and testing data in creating scenarios. So this
Yeah.
is, if I'm right, so how you test it, you took the situation and you replicate it. That's great. That's good approach. And while we are at programming part and testing, if you can just in a few sentences explain us what are your thoughts about preseason, maybe the most important principles for you, like key elements of a good preseason program.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Some things about preseason. For me, it's really, of course, it's really important part of season. But also sometimes uh, how do I say, old school coaches think, okay, we got now preseason. If we do it good, we will be the best in next, I don't know, 6 months. If we're doing something wrong, we will be bad in next 6 months. Of course, it's not like that. It's period from 4 to 6 weeks usually. So I'm watching to that as a good intro, for what are you doing in season. If you're doing only good in preseason and then stop that in season and say, okay, now we are ready and we will go on freshness during the in season. We will do nothing. I think
Yeah,
that will be wrong.
maybe not the best
In,
option.
yeah. Uh, in preseason, we start with some intro week. Nothing special, just to intro. Then after that, we're trying to prepare players for play every 3 days. Uh, we played with Zrinjski and also now in Sabah. We played European competitions, and we hope that we will play also group stage this year. We didn't accomplish that last year with Zrinjski. We did, so we must prepare for worst case. It's not worst case; it's actually best case scenario if we play every
Yeah, that's
three
it.
days again.
Is
So
the
we're
best.
trying
Is
to
the best.
prepare. Yeah, we're trying to prepare through pre-season players for that. So at the beginning we start, for example, every 2 days with some conditioning session. After that we start with games. We play every 3 games, and long story short, it's
All right. Yeah. So I like the concept that you mentioned that it's not these 6 weeks that will build you during your season. You have the whole like 15 weeks after that. And just for one question for you, you can just say pretty fast and quickly yes or no. Can we improve qualities during in season? Yes or no?
yes, of course.
Yeah. All right. That's good. That's because a lot of in a lot of questions and not questions talks with different coaches and so on. They they are pretty convinced that sometimes we cannot improve nothing during the season. Of course, if you are playing every second or third day, it's pretty hard. But I still think that there are a lot of methods that maybe we are not using in football that can be beneficial. And when we are at that topic, let's go to strength training. And
Mhm.
what are your ideas with strength? How do you approach to strength? How often do you do strength training? When I say strength training, let's say let's call it like training with resistance. So different types of resistance, not just strength like 5 RMs, 6 RMs, and this kind of the whole spectrum of resistance training. So when do you use it and how do you use it?
Yeah, of course. You said good. Strength training is not only weights, bodybuilding, and gym training. Also, it's strength training on the pitch, resistance training. Uh, Yeah, I use it. I separate it on a few ways. One part of strength training I look as a bare minimum my players must do. That's the part I'm doing with them. It's like whole team strength training. We do that one time per week as for whole team. Also for in a compensation session, I do with players who didn't play day before. Also we do strength training. Now I'm talking only about the gym. Also every day we have activation pre pre training. I have 15 minutes to do some activation. I'm looking on that also according to main part of session. Sometimes the goal of some conditioning session is strength training, small side games, possessions, lot of
Yeah.
acceleration, decelerations, tackles, duels. So from according to that, I do maybe some. I want force in gym. I want force. Maybe through overcoming isometrics, maybe uh, some hard gym session, and stuff like that. Then we go on the pitch. Also on the pitch, I have 15 minutes approximately. I do also strength drills through football drills, some accelerations, tackles, protecting the ball,
Yeah.
and stuff like that.
So you are connecting uh, the main goal of the session. Let's say you are playing small sided games and you try to connect your gym work with that.
Yeah, yeah, I can say like it, yeah.
Yeah.
Or
And
for example,
and
speed session, maybe some plyos and
yeah, with some more velocity oriented
yeah,
exercises.
velocity. Yeah, velocity. Yeah, more
And when
velocity
you
exercise and then
yeah,
for example, maximum speed on the pitch and then maybe some transitions or I don't know what we have that day.
combination. Yeah. And you
Yeah.
mentioned different types of contractions. So we know sometimes to see in different types of videos on YouTube's, Instagrams, and so on. A lot of exercises that maybe are not activating the muscles and not producing the force and speeds that are replicating what is happening in the game. And a lot of them are like concentric based and
Yeah.
typical exercises with classical tempo, like 1 second of this type of contraction, 1 second of this type. And do you use uh, any other type of contraction, not just concentric? Do you mix it or how do you use it?
Yeah, I can say that I mix it. For those exercises that you mentioned, I love to say in my free time that we wasting our time. Also, I would like that we have more, devices to check. For example, I like overcoming isometrics. In future, I would like to have in club some devices to give feedback to my players. From my experience, I saw it's very important because some players it's enough to say, okay, give me your maximum, and he will give 200% from him. And for some players, it's hard to get their maximum. And if you can't measure it, it's a little bit difficult.
Yeah,
Also, yeah. Also, I like overcoming isometric. For example, in split squat, or raising on toes. With on Smith machine
yeah, for
that doesn't
calves.
move. Yeah, for calves. I like to do that before sprint training. Uh, I like to do some medicine ball throwing from that spectrum you said velocity. when I want velocity, I use medicine balls and stuff like that.
And so, from your experience using force velocity and also this isometric devices, it's beneficial for the players. They get like motivated in strength. I like to call that part as a GPS in the gym. So you see it also like that.
Yeah. I also feel like that because if you want force, if you want develop force, your player must give maximum, and the best way to give his maximum is to give him some feedback. And then, from my experience, if you have some feedback, players give more. They're motivated more. They compete with other players, and I like that. I think that's the best way to develop force. As I mentioned, for some players it's enough to say, "Okay, give me your maximum now," and it's enough. But for most of them,
For
you
someone,
need
maybe
some
not. Yeah,
feedback, competition, and
yeah.
etc.
You need to play again. Uh,
Yeah.
just to wrap this strength part up. Can you say us pretty like not fast, but like fast in a weekly microcycle? Whether you use isometric, concentric, eccentric, some kind of an idea. I know
Hmm.
sometimes I use eccentric at the beginning, concentric, isometric during the end, something like that.
Hmm. Uh, Answer is again it depends. It depends on
It
my
depends, yeah.
microcycle. What I need in that day, in that week. Uh, but as you mentioned, at the beginning of the week, I will put more demanding contractions, and when we are closer to the match, and especially if it's important match, I do some velocity drills. For example, 2 days before match. And
That's awesome.
also that's the part I mentioned for my whole team. But also every player has his individual needs, so it depends on player. If some players is use on, I don't know, more eccentric drills, or he has some problems with tendons, maybe more isometrics, and
Isometric parts.
depends on
Yeah.
his individual need.
Yeah. So you have team standards, well, like minimal thing that they need to do, and individual things
Yeah.
depending on their goal, strength, weakness, and so on.
Previous injuries, yeah.
Yeah, so you are hitting from both directions. Let's say here,
Yeah,
if
yeah.
you are hitting what they need to do for the team perspective and individual. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
And let's try to connect maybe this strength part and force velocity with monitoring. So, well, it's kind of connected because you are checking readiness, monitor or testing. They are like uh, uh, pretty close concepts, and how your monitoring cycle looks like. What kind of data do you gather from your players, your teams?
Yeah. I use GPS, of course. I have heart rate monitors also on GPS. I use RPE, and I use wellness questionnaire. Also, sometimes I use counter movement jump for neuromuscular power. I did test at the beginning of the preseason, and then during the in season when I want to check some players, I just put him on counter movement jump and check his readiness, his development, or similar. I don't have plan every Monday I must do counter movement jump. No, when I think I need to do it with
Maybe
someone,
it's a
maybe
good
with the
time.
whole
Yeah.
team. Yeah, I do it.
Do you use any like subjective monitoring strategies with your players? There are a lot of topics now and interest about session RPE and this kind of wellness questionnaires? Do you use something like that?
Yeah, also we talked a lot about organization and communication, uh, and that's why it's easier when he put in application. I don't know, he feel some pain somewhere, or he's tired, he didn't sleep. It's easier when he put in application, and then I, or maybe first coach, call him in office and said, okay, what's the problem? Is it, you know, when he asked, because culture here and players here, they are not so open in communication like players in Croatia. For when we were in Zrinjski or in Dinamo, player come and said, okay, coach, I feel something here, or I need maybe to rest. Here, they look coach, as a strictly as a boss, and that's it. They are, how I said, they're not so free to say, okay, coach, today I'm not good, or joke or something. They look coach as a boss, and that's it. So I
Yeah.
like to have those information in application, and then it's different when you call them and say, oh, how are you today, how is with that injury. It's different.
You can react pretty fast, yeah.
Yeah, you can react better, because we have some previous cases when player, they don't want to say, coach, I feel something, maybe it's small problem, and then he continue with training, and it gets bigger problem.
Yeah, and when you get to GPS data, as you mentioned in few occasions that you are using it pretty much.
Yeah.
So I know that there are a lot of variables and everything, a lot of variables and everything there outside now. But if you need to say like the few most important parameters for you, what that will be.
Yeah. Okay. I check variables parameters as I think most of strength and conditioning coaches. It's some volumes parameter like total distance. I look high speed running. I look sprint distance, accelerations, decelerations. We use StatSport, so also one parameter I check is acceleration plus deceleration per minute, and also high metabolic load distance. I like to look at that parameter, and also distance per minute, and that accelerations, decelerations per minute. I think that's all.
Yeah, so a lot of the
Maximum speed, of course.
yeah. Well, if you need to have some kind of a bigger picture, I also think that you need to have both volume, intensity parameters, and then to tell the whole story. But
Yeah.
let's not go too deep into other variables. I'm a little bit interested in, from my perspective, in high metabolic load distance. I try to interpret this parameter to myself. So how you look at this parameter? What is he telling you? Something like that.
Yeah, it's explained by StatSports, and I look in that as every intensive action. It's in there, from high speed to accelerations, deceleration, and meters, uh, above some heart rate. It's also, I think it's also inside.
So all high
I like to
intensity actions inside.
all high intensity actions is inside. I like to compare, between players, because as you mentioned earlier, some players are not so fast, and but they also give 100%. They give a lot of intensity, but maybe through accelerations. Some players give it through high speed, sprint, some from accelerations, decelerations, and meters per minute. For example, my midfielder player has usually in most of matches has biggest number in high metabolic low distance, but not so much sprint. But when you put inside everything, also zone 4 distance and accelerations, decelerations, he's on top.
Yeah, it's not just about one variable; it's about combination of different variables.
Combination. Yeah, and usually I saw now in television, those commentary after match, they only talking about high speed running. It's
and total distance.
It's not only thing.
Yeah. People forget about density, intensity, volume. So this kind of a mixture of these things in the microcycle and in drills, and it's also just one set of data. You can have let's say if everything of that is low and you have high RP values, it's also something that is telling you differently. So it's constantly a combination. We are coming to our last topic, and our last topic is about game day priming and some compensation session ideas. And I know that you like this topic about compensation session, but maybe to go firstly on a game day preparation. So, what are your habits and your team habits on a game day? Do you have any type of session in the morning? Do you have any individual work afternoon before a game, or how is it organized?
I really like that compensation sessions. But okay, firstly about that game day priming, also popular answer. It depends. When I came to Zrinjski, they had before every match they had priming, and it was, I like to say, in their club culture. So me also, I continue with that game day priming. Type of my session game day priming, it's like 15 minutes. We usually do some. I give them 2-3 minutes free mobility on the floor, whatever they want. After that, 2 minutes with me, also some mobility drills on floor. It's it's relaxed session. After that, we do some activation, but not so intensity. Usually with bands. I got some bands. We do some rotation, anti-rotation, core workout. A few exercises for lower body, low volume, low intensity. And after that, I like to do some, skips and like agilities. I don't know, mirror drills or something like that. And I want to that must be competition. I want competition. I want fun. I want to see them laughing, having fun. It's important for atmosphere on the game day, and also you do something for their nervous system.
Yeah. So you play here with mental component and neural component. So these are two most important aspects for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And on a warm up, for a game, like team warm up, when they're coming on the pitch, how do you approach here?
Yeah, I try to be, simple. I try to make that warm up short and simple. I don't want to player come in game under fatigue, but also I wanted to be warm up. I give them around 2 minutes free, with the balls, passing, feel the pitch, feel the ball, After that, some mobility drills and activation in place, but also very short, low volume. After that, few accelerations, decelerations, high intensity actions. And after that, they go on possession. Also, one part passive, then active possession, some finishing and position specific drills, and a few sprints at the end. It's, I try to be simple.
I know it's not planned, but I asked this question myself just before a few days. These reactions and sprints at the end of like reactions at the end
Yeah.
of the team warm up. What do you think about them? I was thinking we play small sided games, then we have sport position specific, like crossing and this kind of actions, and then we go for a sprints. I also always do this kind of sprints at the end. But what do you think now when you start to think about it? Do we still need them, or maybe we done already all of that in these games?
I'm using it, but also it depends because that finishing we have, it's a little bit static, for my opinion. So after that, starting crossing, for example, right back stays in the place, gets ball, cross. That attacker stays in the box, just finish with header. They stay, I don't know, 10 minutes maybe. Yeah, 10 minutes they stay and just have technical drills, finish and stuff. So after that, I want a little bit, wake up again, 2,
Yeah.
3 sprints, and then in the game.
Yeah, so it depends on the last drill if you will do
Yeah,
it or
yeah.
not. And what are your thoughts about warm up in the halftime?
Uh, of course, it depends. For example, when I feel that my team needs it, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I go in the right direction. But when I feel my team needs it, I put also a few cones. Just give me some skip and acceleration. Just don't go from blocker on the pitch. But sometimes, if I feel that my team maybe needs a little bit more calmness and calm in the match, I don't know that. I just said to him, let's go to them. Let's go run a little bit, prepare yourself for match, and then they do individually if someone feels that
If
he
someone
needs
wants.
some. Yeah.
Yeah, good. And we managed to talk about morning session, warm up, halftime warm up, and now we are coming to compensation training session. So can you explain your concepts about compensation training session and when and how you implement them?
Yeah, that also depends as everything. Firstly, about when is the next game. For example, sometimes you have normal week, Saturday to Saturday. Sometimes you have Sunday to Saturday. So in some cases, I'm doing it immediately after match, but personally, I don't prefer that. I think for me, it's better. I like to more do it day after because of mentally very important. Imagine if anyone play football before, so you stay on the bench or you play 2 minutes, and then after match everybody goes to the locker room, shower to their family, and you must run something with fitness coach. I know mentally. I know you can
It's
say
not easy,
they,
yeah.
they they have big salaries, they must do it. I know, but mentally that's not easy. So I like, for me it's better to do it day after. But sometimes it depends on calendar. You can do it. You must do it immediately after. If it's a situation like that, immediately after the match, I like to do it through, I like to cover most intensive actions, through speed. So most intensive speed, I don't know, few sprints of 40 meters, few maximal change of direction, depend on angles. I put some 45 degrees change of direction, 180. I mixed that sort of things. And after that, if we are looking for maximal intensive actions, I want to put them in the red zone. So it depends, maybe maybe some intervals running or similar things. And it's finished. Also, it's important for that session after that it is short. You maybe play a night match and they will put out lights after 20 minutes. So you don't have 1 hour for
You
whole
don't have
training. You
time,
have
yeah.
you have maybe 20, maybe 30 minutes. And also mentally, it's hard to train after match. You are here 3 hours. You came 3 hours before, and then now you must 60 minutes train. No, 20, 30 minutes, maximal intensive actions, and that's it. Uh, but I said I more like it day after. Then players got sleep, coaches got quality sleep. We come to training. We do quality strength session. We go on the pitch. We do also some sometimes change of direction, sometimes speed exercise. Depends on previous week, next week, previous conditioning sessions. After that, I like to do some position. I in communication with my assistant coach, we do some position specific exercise drill. I think that's missing for players who didn't play. Of course,
Yeah,
conditioning
specific demands.
conditioning part, but specific. That right back must cross, I don't know, 10 times. That attacker must score some goals. We must improve that finishing, and you know maybe center back some jumps. I don't know, 1-on-1, 2-on-1 situations, and after that depends on what we do. As I said, what we did in the previous week, what we're gonna do in the next week, and it depends of course number of players. That's also thing. We put
Yeah.
some kind of small side games or maybe transitions, maybe some hit running. It depends, yeah. But those are some idea concept of compensation session.
Yeah, so you try to mix pretty much everything what is happening in the game. And
Yeah.
just maybe to finish to wrap this topic up, if you need to say when compensating volume and intensity in percentages, can you say like, yeah, we compensate 70% of the volume of the game and 100% of the intensity, or any other type?
Yeah, yeah. I like to compensate 100% of intensity. If I compensate volume, I like to compensate around 70-80%.
Okay, perfect. And the last thing, we are coming to the end. So we managed to talk about the whole topics about communication, preseason, strength, game day prep, and we can wrap everything up. So uh, just a few things from your side. Again, some advices for strength conditioning coaches who are coming to work in clubs. Do you have any upcoming projects, and where can listeners follow you? Where can they follow your work, or how they can reach up to you if they have any more questions?
Yeah, for some advices, I would like to advise, if you want really work to team sports as football, if you can play the sport, watch the sport, think about movements, think about what those players do to for which action would like to say that this player is ready. I don't know. I like to see like that. For some winger, what's important? To, I don't know, go 1-on-1, be fast, be quick in transitions. what's most important for defender: be strong, good in jump and similar, and train them in that way. That's my advice. And where can people find me? I don't know, Instagram, LinkedIn, and sort of.
Okay, perfect. And any upcoming projects from your side, or you're just focusing on your club
I'm
surrounding and
focused
club?
on the biggest project is next match. It's in Sunday against Karabakh. So
That's it.
every,
That's
every
it.
weekend is my biggest project. So
Biggest project every weekend, every game.
every game,
Well,
every session.
so good luck on that game. And Domagoj, thank you one more time for your time. I really enjoyed this talk. I heard a lot of good things here, good insights, and I think that you are doing their amazing job. I hope we will do something like this or any other project in future. I wish you all the best in the club, and like you said, for a weekend, for the next weekend. Thank you one more time.
Thank you, Marco. Keep in touch and wish you all the best.